Hello, everyone. I'm Colin Tessier of WrestleZone.com, and joined tonight by Robert DeFelice to talk about Friday Night SmackDown, the very day before the Royal Rumble Premium Live event. Robert, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, Colin. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well. I'm a little frazzled, I will say off the bat. I did a last-minute interview at 8:30, right in the middle of SmackDown, and it went a little longer than I anticipated. So I wound up literally missing the solid middle chunk of the show. But I saw the beginning and I saw the end. Like any good book, you read the beginning, you read the end, you get the gist anyway.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I mean, the middle. You don't really need the middle. It's not
yeah.
the best song by Jimmy Eat World anyway. Um,
And there's still plenty to talk about. I saw a very solid closing segment. I saw an interesting opening segment. Obviously, the Royal Rumble is tomorrow, so that's plenty to talk about. The title matches, the Rumble matches, surprise entrance, and everything in
Realistically,
between.
you know, the Royal Rumble is one of my favorite shows of the year because they get right to the point. It's two title matches, two Rumble matches, and what is it, like a mixed tag attraction match?
Yep,
Which
that's it.
it's one of the best cards of the year.
Hard to top. Hard to top. The Rumbles being as exciting as they are, as noteworthy as they are. Right off the top, Brian Everett saying can't wait for the Rumble. That will be tomorrow. Tomorrow being Saturday, as we're recording on Friday night. So yes, we have arrived. Nestra saying Rumble is her favorite pay-per-view. So yeah, it's a great time. It's exciting. But we can dive right in here. The show opened, and basically, as Stephen Chambers saying, he thought the entire women's division was going to come in the ring here because we had Charlotte Flair, the SmackDown Women's
The
Champion.
entire women's division did come in the ring.
At least on the SmackDown side of things, yes. We saw Shotzi, we saw Aaliyah 317 come to the ring. We saw Shayna Baszler, pretty much everybody other than I would say Naomi. It felt like on
We
the
saw the
SmackDown side.
only woman that matters, and that is the returning Sasha Banks. Sasha
Right,
Banks
of
is
course.
back.
Yeah. Oh my, I'm so out of it. Yeah, Sasha Banks came back. This one caught me way off guard. We had known for weeks that she was on the shelf. She was hurt, and I'll admit, right before the show, I saw some rumors going around about Sasha Banks, but then I didn't explicitly look into them, so I didn't know what those were about. And then she comes out and she says she's ready to rumble. So Sasha Banks, it would seem pretty clear, will be in the Rumble, and suddenly I would say it seems like she's one of the favorites. But Nash was asking once Sasha got cleared. I mean, assuming that is
It
the
doesn't
case,
matter.
right?
Like we don't know when Sasha got cleared. I know that like 2 minutes before the show goes on the air, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select was like, "Hey, Sasha's ahead of schedule." I thought, okay, she'll be a surprise in tomorrow's Rumble. And then she shows up on TV, which is rad because Sasha's the best women's wrestler of all time. And she's the best.
You know, Brian Everett saying that he loves the return of Sasha, bringing back much needed depth. It helps when you've only got maybe seven, eight women on in the SmackDown Women's
Oh, on the
division.
SmackDown side of things, well, look, first of many of tonight, merge the damn shows because Big E's on SmackDown randomly, and Haley's like, "I'm back on SmackDown." What does it mean? Is he just back full time on SmackDown for no reason? No. Women's division has zero depth on Friday nights. They need to merge the shows. I'm just glad that Sasha is back because the betting odds, you saw them, I saw them. Was it Bianca,
Yep.
Charlotte Flair, and Alexa?
Yeah,
Like,
that sounds right.
what is that?
Realistic options, and for
They're
better, for
realistic
better or
options.
worse.
Bliss isn't even announced for the Royal Rumble.
She's not? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh man. I thought she was okay. Well,
She hasn't done anything but sit in therapy. She hasn't even, they haven't even broken through anything in therapy.
it takes time, Robert. It takes time, and I guess she'll take a little more time past tomorrow at the
It does
Rumble, it
take time.
seems.
We have established we are in the middle of the ride. I just want to get to the ending here because Bliss needs to be back in full goddess mode.
I would agree. I would agree. But on the SmackDown side, you were comparing it to the two brands here. Stephen Chambers saying that on the SmackDown side of things, it's better than Raw's vision. I wouldn't necessarily
I would
agree.
not agree with that statement at all.
At least Raw's Bianca with Morgan has
Raw's
been
women division has depth. They might not do anything with those women,
right.
but they at least have the depth. SmackDown, they don't do anything with them, and there's no depth.
Right. And tonight, I've made it no secret. I'm a big fan of Shayna Baszler. She hasn't looked very well. So her coming out and interrupting Charlotte and saying, "Oh, I'm going to rip you apart tomorrow." It's like, well, you haven't really done anything. So, they don't really take that seriously. And then you've got Aaliyah coming out looking like, I'm sorry, but looking like a jabroni. She's like, "Oh, it'll be my first Royal Rumble, and I just pinned Natalia in 3.17 seconds. So, call me optimistic, but maybe this is my year." And just like Dana Brooks said on the Raw side, call her crazy, but she might win. No, you're not winning. Aaliyah's not winning. This all felt very silly because like none of these people are going to win.
I mean,
Charlotte
it's bad this year across the board, men and women.
Yeah,
like half these entrants, you're like, you're not getting anywhere near the main event of WrestleMania. But good luck.
Shotzi came out and said, "Oh, maybe this is a perfect chance for her to step in the spotlight again." Like Robert, you just said. I'm sorry.
They don't do non-title women's matches at Mania for the most part. I really just want Shotzi versus Lita. You have two nights of WrestleMania. Just do a one-off match.
Why not? Why not? They have the history of
because we can't have nice thing. That's why not.
Well, that's a talk for a whole other day. But as always, Brian Everett, pretty much one of the catchphrases of our shows here. Yes, it all comes down to the booking. In this case, for the women's division, I would say overall. But yes, they have a lot of the talent they do have could be utilized much better, and then maybe this open excitement would have felt more compelling because then be like, oh, maybe this person actually will win. Maybe these are actual contenders, and at least what we saw tonight because of the previous booking, it's like, no, it's not going to be Aaliyah or Shotzi or Shayna or whoever even else is out there. Whereas I could actually see it being Charlotte Flair because, as we've been talking about for a couple weeks now, that's what they do. Like they like to give Charlotte all the accolades they can. So
I believe the WrestleZone Twitter account tweeted out, "I can actually see Charlotte winning."
That would be me. I said that.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, good. Somebody's getting on board with what I've been saying because it's the start of January. Because a lot of people are just like, well, Bianca is gonna win, or Rousey, because Fightful Select said, hey, Rousey is in discussion for being in the match, and people just immediately said Rousey is returning at the Royal Rumble. That's not what Sean said. You're jumping to conclusions, but I foresee Charlotte winning if Rousey's not there, because obviously if Rousey is there, yeah, Rousey's gonna win at all costs.
Yeah. If that happens, then in that case, not being Charlotte, Steven saying whoever does eliminate Charlotte could very well be her next WrestleMania opponent.
And then makes sense. There's a way to get to it like that as well. I think Charlotte wins and gets on the mic and says, I now choose who I want to face at WrestleMania, and out comes Ronda Rousey. That's another way to do it. But then again, I've been thinking that before Sasha Banks returned, because now you can just have Banks eliminate Flair, and there's your WrestleMania match for SmackDown, and then Rousey wins and then faces Becky, and then I'd be all right with those two matches anchoring the women's division for Mania.
Could do far worse. I like him.
You could do far worse.
I still, I'm agreeing with Nesha. I still I've got just a kind of a gut feeling. If Bayley's good to go, I think she could very well win. But I haven't heard anything about whether she's good or not. So that one we'll definitely have to wait and see on. But I think she can, like Charlotte, very realistic. Back Belair, maybe. Bayley.
I feel bad. Like I would love for like a Naomi to win. Just Naomi's been there for so long.
Yeah. She
deserves it. Talk about some of these reported names.
Yeah.
You can Caitlyn's reported for it.
Ivory, Hall of Famer Ivory also reported.
Hall of Famer Ivory.
Spoiler alerts, by the way. Spoiler if you don't want.
Sorry. These are reported mostly from PWI.
Yeah.
Melina, I know was reported.
I didn't see that one. All right.
Cool. Cameron.
Funkadactyl.
Oksana, because we're scraping the bottom of the bottom.
Are you serious?
I read that at 2 a.m. from Mike Johnson at PWI Center. Oh, by the way, Oksana's in St. Louis for the Royal Rumble. It's like, okay. And why did we fire all these women? Like, what are we doing?
What a time. I mean, as always, the Rumble is a fun time for surprises like that. Ironically, you mentioned someone like Oksana. I wouldn't have seen that coming from a mile away. So it's like they show up and it's like, oh, okay.
I mean, like if Oksana's music hits, does anybody even? How many people just go? Who is that? Like, it's been long enough because she was with Cesaro 10 years
Oh
ago.
yeah. Oh, I
It was
remember.
10 years ago that she was
Yeah.
with Cesaro. So, like, that's a long time.
It's a very long time, and WWE often frames things as like, "What have you done for me lately?" kind of thing. So yeah, I would feel like a lot of people may not exactly remember Oksana or some others, but you never know. Maybe they'll get that good old nostalgia pop. But do you want to touch on one match we did see tonight? Finally, maybe I would say overdue. Naomi, you mentioned Naomi a minute ago. We did see Naomi versus Sonya Deville. Now, admittedly, I missed this one. Robert, do you want to break this down? And
It
then
was.
what?
I'm not gonna sit here and break it down move for move, but I'll tell you this: they gave them a lot of time. They got actual time to have a wrestling match, and Naomi got vindication. And Sonya made up for it by, getting her heat back and just announcing herself for the Royal Rumble, which, is awesome because
Yeah,
Sonya, again, was on a great run in 2020, got derailed because of like a very sad situation. And I want to see her get back into the swing of things.
yeah, I'm very happy to see that as well. I thought she had a great storyline there with Mandy Rose, and then she went away, and now she's finally kind of stepping back into the thick of things here. And I like how this could be I guess, the outcome of the storyline is that she's still gonna A, try and screw over Naomi, B, try and get herself a big win potentially. With Steven saying maybe Sonya will use her power to enter the match number 30, and maybe I would say on the flip side, she might try to kind of use her power to have Naomi be the first overall entrant, and then in the event
They
that Naomi
haven't done
wins,
a
that'd be
lot
cool.
of the abuse of power. I thought Naomi going to get to number one would be one of them. I thought Vince would tell Theory he needs to go into number one. He still could,
Yeah.
but they haven't gotten there yet.
But this definitely was a very good. You mentioned vindication for Naomi. Brian Evans saying he's happy Naomi finally got the win. Nestra, maybe on the flip side, saying for the Rumble itself, says she wouldn't put it past Sonya winning again, especially kind of combine that with Steven's comment about maybe abusing her power, maybe having other people help her do that. I wouldn't think that's the most realistic outcome. I think you mentioned as we did before, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte, Bailey again, kind of being up in the air there. I think those maybe be a little more realistic because not to knock Sonya, but like that's you would want some kind of a big deal in some way, and especially if there is truth to the Ronda Rousey thing, and people are assuming that she'll be in the Rumble. That seems to be the play here.
I would
Robert,
love to see if Toxic Attraction could get in the Rumble. Like, Mandy and Sonya and the two of them beating up everybody. I think that's long overdue. I think Mandy should be in the Rumble just because if Mandy's been good enough for every other Rumble, why is she suddenly on NXT? And that never like exactly hit me.
I do think we will see Mandy or some other people
I
from the
do think
women's.
Cora will be. I think Cora Jade will be in the Rumble.
Really? I'm all right, maybe. I'm definitely thinking. I'm definitely thinking Raquel. Yeah, Raquel
I
Gonzalez, Io
don't think
Shirai.
Raquel because I think if you're gonna have Raquel, she needs to win.
Really?
I think
Wow.
if Raquel's in the Royal Rumble, she needs to win it. So I don't think you put Raquel in the Royal Rumble.
But they put Rhea Ripley in it last year, and that's kind of how they brought her up, and she didn't
And
win.
let me tell you, how has that worked out for Rhea Ripley?
All
Yeah.
right, you got me. You got me. All right, you're right. Steven predicting maybe Raquel, Dakota Kai. I was also about to say Io
Dakota Kai,
Shirai.
I
Yeah,
think she's was rumored to be in town for tonight's show.
yeah.
So
Her,
put
I
her in
thought,
there.
I thought Dakota, her and Io was. I think Io was there as well. Brian
Put
agreeing
Io
about
in the Rumble.
yeah, Brian.
Io, I think Asuka's rumored for the Rumble.
Yeah, it was rumored. All these rumors right now, but Cora Jade, Brian agreeing with that one.
Kyrie was rumored for the Royal
Maybe,
Rumble.
maybe. But I definitely expect a bunch of NXT names at the very least. You mentioned as we did a minute ago some of the surprise entrants from the past, but I would expect several NXT names. At least, maybe some of the bigger ones like an EO or Dakota. I think that would definitely help make it more of an exciting match. Just ideally, maybe have that be the way they get called up to the main roster because they
Realistically, I
need it.
mean, where there's a whole subsection of fans that would lose their shit if Nikki Bella would win this thing. You know, like there's so many things you can do. To me, the women's Royal Rumble is more exciting this year because there's so many outcomes that would actually please people. With the men's Royal Rumble, how many people, maybe yourself included, we haven't talked about this, just think, oh, either Roman or Brock will lose, and then we'll enter the Rumble and then challenge the other one. And like,
Yeah.
how depressing is that?
It's very depressing. Like I meant to say, like kind of starting off, people we're excited about the Rumble, but I'm not as excited as I should be. Because I don't feel the same usual sense of, oh, it's this really exciting time. Like anybody could win. I feel anybody could win, but I'm more well, actually no, because like they haven't really built any one person up.
They haven't built anybody.
Right. So then that idea of, okay, one of Roman and Brock is going to lose, then they're going to win the Rumble and set up WrestleMania.
But that's just depressing. It's like you're telling me that the best you have is one of the two people currently holding a title.
Right.
That's the best you like. Pivot. AJ Styles should win the Royal Rumble.
Why would I see that? Yeah.
Or Big E. Show some faith in Big E. Show some faith in Kofi. Like have him actually save himself and win.
That'd be fun, if I pay off that way of him constantly like avoiding elimination in these crazy ways and actually win this year. Hey, that'd be kind of cool. Big E. I mean, I've made it no secret. I'm a big fan of Big E. I wanted better from his title reign. I thought he kind of got the short end of the stick there, and now he's kind of taken the back seat here in terms of now he's kind of reunited with Kofi again, and it's fun. It's everyone loves the New Day, but he does not really feel like at that level of winning the Rumble right now. Same just like last year. I thought that he would kind of get the Rumble win and that would launch him to the top, and that didn't happen. And I definitely don't think that's the case this year, unfortunately. And it sucks. It's like I want that to happen.
I don't want to believe that it'll just be one of Roman or Brock, so I'm gonna say AJ. Like that's my go-to. I think AJ Styles is a shot because he's got no loss. So what better way than have him establish himself by winning the Royal Rumble?
It's true. And I think, he's already done everything else that he can do in terms of accolades and everything. So that's the one thing that's kind of evaded him for the most part. So I like to see that. Big fan of AJ. And Steven Chambers agreeing, but I got this feeling it's probably going to be Roman or Brock, and it's going to be kind of a dud. It's
Which of the two would you prefer?
So we know that it's going to be Bobby Lashley and Brock for the WWE title, and Roman and Seth for the Universal title. We'll talk about that feud in a bit here, but I don't really want either. Like neither one's really appealing. It's like Brock. I think
gun to my head, Rollins is champion going into Mania is something we haven't seen yet. So I'd say that.
All right.
But it's not like it's something I would want to see either way.
Yeah. I will say credit to Seth Rollins for his Joker suit tonight. That was fantastic. Love it. But no,
let's talk about that because this segment far and away stole the show for me.
Oh, yeah. Much better than Sami Zayn having a fake podcast with Jinder Mahal.
Although I like the idea of, the in-ring interview segment is worn out.
Yeah.
Do it podcast style. I think that's actually kind of funny.
Yeah. But this was great. All right. So we had the final face-to-face confrontation with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins wearing a purple and green suit, just like the Joker. Very much props for that. Roman Reigns comes out, says, Kansas City acknowledged me. Rollins jokes about, oh, you think you're Patrick Mahomes now? And yet again, another
sports reference. I don't get it. I know it's definitely a sports reference.
Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, and they're in Kansas tonight, I believe. So
sure,
all right. Well, nonetheless, in the world of sports entertainment, Reigns was asking the crowd to acknowledge him as the tribal chief, and yet again we had a very heated segment here talking about their history. Rollins talking about how he has always kind of gotten one up on Reigns from the start, from breaking up the Shield to beating him for the title at WrestleMania 31, the heist of the century, to their previous feuds over the years, always beating him whenever the lights are on bright, whenever it mattered the most, and being able to really kind of hold that over Reigns' head and saying, like, yeah, you might be, as Reigns said tonight, quote unquote, God mode right now, but you haven't beat me, like, in these high profile situations. So there you go. And I thought, like, that was all well and good, but it really he reached another level when Rollins was like, I'll always love you. It's nothing personal, but I'm taking the title tomorrow. And Reigns said, I've tried to forgive you, but I can't forgive you for what you did to us, and us being the Shield. And then he said, and that was great. And then he said, it's gonna beat him tomorrow. And then I don't know, I thought this was a little silly. Then they went for Superman punch from behind.
I thought that was great. Hey, I'm a step ahead of you. Like, you're not gonna hit me with your Superman punch. I know what you're doing. I basically, created you.
I like that aspect of it. I just thought the closing promo, like the words were so strong. I like there was a part of the promo that took me out of it a little bit, where Rollins was being a real jerk, and we already know that that Reigns has been this real dominant heel, and there's a cool, likable aspect to it, but by and large, despicable heel, don't like him. So who are you supposed to cheer? But then the end, we get the little kind of twist of him saying, like, I'll never forgive you for what you did to us, and then it turns a little bit into this sympathetic thing where it's like, oh, we all used to love the Shield. Now he's trying to, like, kind of get some revenge for that. So then I saw some kind of buzz online, like, is this the beginning of Reigns maybe turning face?
No.
Especially,
I think Rollins looks more like the babyface to me, because he's the one who's, yeah, Roman, you think you're this high and mighty guy, but I know you, and you're still the guy that I betrayed to end the Shield. And yeah, sure, Roman had this moment where he was like, I can't forgive you for that. But to me, it felt human, right? Like,
yeah,
in a much more sports entertainment way. But I will compare it to what I felt about Punk and Eddie Kingston late last year, where it was like, I get it. This is a human interaction. They're both pieces of shit, but they have a history and you can relate. Like, I like the idea of, I tried to forgive you, but I'll never forgive you for what you did to us. Like, at the end of the day, for everything Roman's gone through, for the 17 matches with Brock Lesnar, for beating The Undertaker, for all that shit, Roman's like, yeah, I can still go right back there and know that I hate you for that. And it's beautiful. Like, yeah, that's real interactions.
That is wrestling at its best. I would like to see more of that. Literally, really drawing on that human feeling, and then there was real emotions there, rather than these sometimes very clearly constructed stories. That's real, real history. Even if it's within the context of the universe, it still feels very real. And that both guys did a great job of telling that. So, as you said, a very, very human, realistic interaction. I like that a lot. I just feel like Seth kind of, to me at least, he really came across, and you said they're both pieces of shit, but like Seth came across as the real kind of like jerk of like kind of rubbing it in his face, and then Reigns kind of turned it and was like this sense of almost a guy of still not that it's a broken.
It is
heart
interesting
still.
when you see Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns is alone.
Yeah,
that you can go, oh, maybe he's the babyface,
right? And I think that's probably the most interesting part, along with all the history and everything, that those shades of gray, and the kind of being uncertain about who to cheer for, who's really the good guy, or if there is one in the situation here. But on a more of a prediction side of things, Stephen Chambers saying, hate to see it, but I can see Owens costing Seth Rollins the match at Seth versus Owens WrestleMania, with the Usos being part of ringside.
Let me ask you, why? Why should we do Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins for no championship at WrestleMania? We just did that 2 years ago. It was one of the matches at an empty performance center. After, by the way, they were feuding for like 6 months.
Yep, I remember that.
I have zero desire for that. At most, I can live with Brock costs Roman, Roman costs Brock, and because Lashley, they've told a great story on Raw where Brock is over here wearing cowboy hats and making pyro go off that makes Paul Heyman fall down, like, and he's just looking past Lashley. They've also told the story, hey, losing to Seth is nothing to be ashamed of. It's not like, oh, this kills the tribal chief, because Brock's lost to Seth. You know, everybody has.
But in a way, like, I think I'd be more upset if Reigns lost to Rollins, because that would kind of reflect a lack of progress. Granted, everyone has their own Achilles heel. We could go with that. Like, they could just never beat him, and like, you literally just can't do it. But like, with this run of the tribal chief, and he's grown so much, quite literally, like as a performer, and then maybe more so in the in-universe sense, like that growth, to have that not be reflected when he faces Rollins again for the first time in this run. I feel like that's a bit, a little disappointing, and that's one missed opportunity.
It's one of those like double-edged swords of, damn it, WWE, make a star, make someone else, because yes, there's no shame in losing to Rollins, but if it's just Rollins, it becomes, damn it, it's just Rollins.
Yeah. And that's part of the problem here. It's like, you can't even really be like, oh, I really want this to happen, because like, it is Rollins and he's great, and we've always seen him be the champion. We've seen this, and I think most people would prefer someone new in that case. And then kind of on the flip side, something not new. And that's just saying, doesn't expect any newness here. She's expecting Roman to not lose until at least WrestleMania. And then in that case, in theory, kind of all things being combined here, if Roman wins tomorrow, let's say that would mean presumably Brock might lose. Brock wins the Rumble. Brock faces Roman.
I don't like that we're all just resigned to this idea. Let's assume for 5 seconds that both Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar retain their titles, and neither one is just going to be magically entered into the Royal Rumble.
Then what? I mean,
then what? Then AJ Styles wins, and AJ Styles can fight whoever. Or like, the idea to me that we're not talking about, it's the 1996 Royal Rumble, and what do you do if Duke the Dumpster Droese win? We're talking AJ Styles has held the WWE Championship for over a year. You know, Big E is a former champion. Omos, not that he would win, is 7 feet something, and like, that could realistically be a main event of something. You know, that's not even to mention, you know, all the other names. Like, Randy Orton could win. Randy Orton could enter a world title picture tomorrow, and it makes sense. I don't care who he's fighting.
Yeah. I mean,
Priest was my pick from like SummerSlam on forward until suddenly he had an inner Damien, and Roman and Brock had 2 titles.
So bad, man. Oh man, yeah. For a while there, I thought Priest would at least be a good dark horse to win. Not anymore. No, that's not happening. I hope not. Not with this gimmick right now. You mentioned, let's assume or hope that Brock and Roman will both win tomorrow and go on to retain and head into WrestleMania as champions, ideally. In that case, Scott George predicting that Big E could win, challenge Roman if they don't go with the Lesnar thing. I mean, I'd like to see it. Like, I like Big E would have to win though. Like, they cannot have Big E lose in that case yet again. They need to build somebody new. That's what I'm thinking here. They really need to ideally. That's the Rumble that's best. You build someone new, heat them up, build them to get the WrestleMania win. Drew McIntyre was a great example in 2020. Last year, Edge won, so that was a bit of an exception. But by and large, that's what I prefer. So thinking someone new. Nesha said this a bunch on the Raw show. So he's predicting Austin Theory for the win. That's Vince's new guy, so maybe he'll win. I think he'll at least have a very good performance. I think he'll have one of those breakout
until I see otherwise. I still think Austin Theory is just going to WrestleMania to eat a Stone Cold Stunner, and maybe Vince eats one more.
That'd be fun. I like to see it, but some of that Brian Dever does not want to see Roman Lesnar again. Yeah, I mean,
I understand it from like it's the biggest match we have. So what can you do?
Yeah. And again, these are just, extensions of a bigger problem of like, they don't have these big stars they can like kind of instantly plug in and be like, oh no, this is a big WrestleMania match. Like, again, in 2020, everyone kind of, the way they built it, you could see Drew McIntyre, he's going to win. He got this momentum. He's going to go on, and they built him up. We don't have that this year. We don't have any like, next guy in line really. Like Roman and Brock are obviously they're at the top, and we know that Lashley and Rollins are challenging tomorrow. But beyond that, again, we mentioned earlier, Big E, maybe. Lashley's a good challenger. I thought he was a good champion, but like that's not new. Like I feel like you need somebody else, someone to freshen it up in that sense. And there's not a real valid kind of contender for that role right now, and that's just very disappointing. And again, that's why so Rumble, it's great, it's fun. I love the surprises. I love the general buzz around it. But right this year, it's like, as you said, Robert, I feel like kind of resigned to oh yeah, it's probably going to be Lesnar or Reigns, and then that's probably a main event, and that's going to be, not
At
very
this
thrilling.
point, I'm gonna pop if it's any if we just get to number 30 and neither one of them are in the ring, I would just feel so much better.
I mean, we haven't really touched on maybe some of the surprise entrants in the men's Rumble, and I always really prefer. I always think back to 2008. John Cena comes out number 30. The crowd goes crazy. And we've seen I think Edge did 2010 a bunch of times over the years. Someone unexpected comes out number 30. Sometimes they win. Sometimes they come back and they don't win, but it's still a big moment. So on the men's side of things, not necessarily number 30, but maybe that's a specific one as well. But who are you kind of thinking now, the day of here, who might be some of the potential surprises?
I've been saying I think X-Pac will be in the Rumble. I think now that he's announced for Talking Smack, I feel even more comfortable saying Kane will be in the Royal Rumble.
That's not a coincidence. I'm sorry.
I love Kane in Royal Rumble. Kane is so much fun. So I'm very excited to see if he's actually in. I think that on the NXT side of things, Ciampa.
Yeah. Done. Maybe
be in the Royal Rumble. He done. Roddy, LA Knight, all those are options.
Do you think LA Knight or Roderick Strong might get called up? We've been seeing them do a bunch of dark matches, and Ciampa and Dunn as well, for that matter. It feels like that might be...
I would like Ciampa to get called up. You got nothing to do in NXT. There's nothing left to do in NXT.
It seems weird to me. Just like, I'm a big fan of LA Knight, big fan of Roderick Strong. It's weird that I just don't see, and I big fan of all three guys. Ciampa as well, huge fan. They just don't feel like they were gonna do much fun with them on the main roster. I don't know where they really fit in, which feels weird to say, but I feel like at best, and it pains me to say it, I feel like at best they're gonna have like Bobby Roode runs where they might have a little success right off the bat, a meaningless mid-card title reign, lose it a month later, and then just kind of be on main event, and that's that. And that sucks. I'm a huge fan of all of them.
It definitely does suck.
But Ciampa is... I don't think Ciampa's that old, actually, but I know Roddy's up there. LA Knight's like almost 40. And I'm not trying to knock the age. I'm saying WWE, more often than not, some exceptions, especially if you arrive on the main roster, it's not like they're going to exactly push you to the moon. If you already are kind of on the in their mind, the wrong side of 30, quote unquote. But and I like this comment from Michael Cummins saying them being called up would potentially impede the flair behind them. If anything, they're going to wind up in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. If they're in the Royal Rumble, and then maybe that's kind of their next usage there. It's painful because I'm a huge fan of NXT, and now you've got some of these black and gold lifers, if you will. Now they're kind of getting called, or at least doing dark matches. They're kind of getting phased out of NXT. Not so much Roddy, he's with Diamond right now, but now they feel kind of lost in limbo. And it's a shame.
And Roddy's also losing on main event, so
he lost a T-bar, everybody. That is not a good sign.
When you're losing a T-bar on main event, I don't know, man. It's not looking good.
Not a good look. But well, I hope at least they get a nice moment. If it happens, that they get a nice moment with the Rumble. That'd be kind of fun. As a fan of all of them, I think it'd be great. Same thing with the question, wondering, talking Hall of Fame here. We know that they recently announced WrestleMania week. It'll be the Hall of Fame ceremony. And now that obviously leads to speculation about potential inductees this year, far and away for me, at least. And Stephen Chambers wondering here as well. The Undertaker, WrestleMania being in Dallas. And
there's nothing special anymore. Undertaker could easily go in the Hall of Fame. He's not, there's no mystique. He just appears on talk shows now.
I remember he had, I think, said a while ago before he even retired that like he wouldn't want to go in the Hall of Fame like while he was still kind of around. But I think that may have changed, as he said. He's doing talk shows, media appearances of various in various ways. So I'd be surprised if he ain't going this year for that reason. But otherwise, I don't know. There's always some curveballs.
They could always announce it tomorrow. Tomorrow would be a good place to announce it.
Why not? To do it with a live crowd and make it a little more special. But Ness pointing out, it's reportedly it's not going to be Jeff Hardy. That was one report that went out earlier today about Jeff Hardy.
Mind that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? That's I don't want to get into that because it's a whole nother topic.
What? You can't just leave the people hanging, Robert.
So Jeff Hardy. Okay, according to Dave Meltzer, Jeff Hardy was offered a spot in the 2022 Hall of Fame. Sean Ross Sapp said that while he could not confirm the Hall of Fame part of that report, he was aware that WWE wanted to make a move for Jeff Hardy to come back. So what happened?
It's a weird situation, man. And reportedly, Jeff asked for his drug test back.
His drug test results, because he's like, no, I know for a fact I wasn't, that I was clean. So what happened? Like, it's all bizarre. That is just crazy.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. When the stuff first came out, the narrative was very much like, oh no, this is terrible. Like, everyone one of the best for Jeff Hardy, and now it's like something's not adding up.
Let's just assume for 5 seconds that it was, hey pal, we screwed up. Can you come back, please, and we'll put you in the Hall of Fame? Are you kidding me? No, I'm gonna go have fun, and because you're gonna put me in the Hall of Fame one way or the other, I'm gonna go have fun, and then you can put me in with my brother when we're done.
Yeah, hard to blame him for that one, and hard to disagree with Brian Everett saying WWE dropped the ball with Jeff Hardy big time. Well, WWE unfortunately has gotten a bit of a pattern of dropping the ball with some people lately. So
that's like sign of the times. They're very good at that sport.
I'm not trying to be negative, folks. And the Royal Rumble is tomorrow. As we're closed on Friday. It's going to be
still my favorite pay-per-view of the year. I'm still looking very much forward to it.
Yes, I'm not trying to be a downer. I'm not trying to be bum everybody out. I'm just saying. Usually, there's a lot more excitement. And this year, it's like, yeah, it's the Royal Rumble, but like, again, as Robert very wisely said earlier, it's like I feel like most people, by and large, are resigned to some of the things we might see tomorrow. Reigns or Lesnar winning.
I'll feel so much better if it's not that.
Yeah, it's Royal Rumble is definitely, if not my absolute favorite, definitely one of my favorites. And as Steven Chambers saying, it's going to be a great pay-per-view. I'm very much, or premium live event, excuse me. I would hope.
It's going to be. It's Colin. It is going to be the most premium live event to ever appear on the Peacock. Let me tell you, this premium live event is so premium that you may have to pay a premium to the Peacock.
What a time, folks. What a time. Well, that said, we know we'll have the Rumble tomorrow. Folks, as I said on the Raw show, it is one of my very few days off. So I'm going to unplug. I'm going to turn off my phone so I don't get spoilers. I'm going to watch it first thing Sunday morning, and I'm going to enjoy it. And then I'll do a post show on Sunday.
You're so lucky. I get to unplug on Saturday. Oh, look at you. I don't get to unplug, and it would be my day off, and I don't get to unplug, pal.
For the record, I work pretty much all day, every day. Otherwise, so,
same. I'm
aware. I'm just saying, like when I can, I need that time to just get away, because then that way, back to the grind, and I can do it and maintain the semblance of my sanity that I have left. And not get totally burnt out, because folks, even I'm sure many of you, even as fans, you're watching this stuff every week, or week in, week out, multiple days a week. Like, it's a lot, and then you're covering it, and you're doing the news, and these things add up. I need that time to step away. Not just as I'm weird, watch it and enjoy. I am weird. This is well established, but I'm
you're with me, so you're normal tonight. But
I'm going to. I'm going to embrace weirdness. I'm going to step away tomorrow. I'm going to turn off my phone, avoid spoilers, and enjoy it Sunday. Do a post show on Sunday. We'll talk all about it. Enjoy it. I'm sure it's going to be a great show. I hope you all enjoy. We know John Clark, WrestleZone. He's going to be there as always.
He's my favorite. He's so good. John Clark is the man.
So I wish him and everyone else be in person fun, fun time being there. I wish everyone watching it live a fun time. It's always fun to. I mean, that's one thing I do like to watch things live and interact. But I tell you, those rare opportunities just to step away, it's like watch it tomorrow or the next day and whatever. It's fine. It's gonna be a good show. I'm hopeful. Ironically, watching the next day lessens any potential disappointment because I'm like, well, it already happened, so I'm just kind of watching it to catch up, and it's fine. It's like missing a live TV show. It's like, all right, well, we're past the moment, so then it's just kind of playing catch up, and I accept it, so it's fine. But regardless, John will be in St. Louis. I'll have a post show on Sunday. Otherwise, we're here. Definitely, John is always there. We're always here at WrestleZone, trying to help you guys do the one thing we do here, whether that's on the Raw show with me and John, the NXT show with me and John, Robert, you and I. When we can, we're here on Fridays. There's only so much we can do. There's always something in the world of wrestling. I try to cover GCW, so when we can, when the schedule permits, we're here on Fridays. When there's not a GCW show, when we're not stretched too thin, there might be a GCW show next week, but when we can, we are here. And otherwise, the two Dynamic Dudes on a Rampage. I cover all things AEW. Nashville's rating the show is 7. Folks, again, as I said at the beginning, I missed probably like 50% of the show, so I could not fairly rate it.
From 7 seems fair.
Yeah, 7 seems kind of fair based on what I kind of saw. From what I saw kind of going on online. But the closing segment was great. Beginning one, not so much. Brian with a 6.57, not too bad. But again, to me, it's more so it's the general vibe around pay-per-view. It's like it's not so great. So 7 seems to be the general feeling here. Steven was 7 as well. So hopefully, the Royal Rumble will be much higher than a 7. We can hope for that much at least. But again, with that being said, we'll have plenty of coverage here on WrestleZone. We have one little staff. They'll be covering it tomorrow here for news and everything. So if you have to miss this premium, the most premium of premium live events, you can't watch it live. If I weren't watching it myself, I would read our coverage of it tomorrow here at WrestleZone. Otherwise, I'll have a poster on Sunday. And with that said, Robert, do you want to plug anything before we get out of here?
I will plug obviously on Twitter at DeFelice. Check out Fightful.com, Fightful Select. Sean Ross Sapp is on site. He will be getting some scoops, I'm sure. I just guys have fun. Have fun. Like honestly, even if Roman Reigns shows up at number 30 and eliminates 29 people, have fun.
Can you imagine?
That'd be awful. But have fun.
Yes, that's always the goal. Always the goal. And that's just saying she enjoys seeing us on the show. And she
wait a minute. I do want to plug something. Last Saturday, I was on the Sports Keto Royal Rumble Trivia Challenge, and I basically beat everybody. As soon as I got in there, I basically beat everybody. I lost at the very, very end, but that will be rectified in February. And, I just want to say it was a pleasure working with some old faces and some new faces. And that was a good time. You should check that out on their YouTube channel.
You definitely should. Lots of good stuff out there in the world of wrestling media here. Nesha saying that she enjoys seeing us here on the WrestleZone channel. We very much appreciate that, Nesha. Your support always very much appreciated. We appreciate all your support. We would not be here without all of you wonderful viewers here, rooting us on, interacting with us, talking about the wild world of wrestling here. So that said, yes, have fun on Saturday for the Rumble. I'll have the post show on Sunday, the next day after that. So we'll talk all about it. Looking forward to it. Hoping for a very good show. With that said, Robert, with that said, Stephen J was saying acknowledge WrestleZone. Yes, let's acknowledge WrestleZone by saying, Robert, here at WrestleZone, we try to do one thing above all others. Can you tell me what that is?
Enjoy wrestling.
Indeed. Thanks for listening, everybody.